All right, we are back. The devil in detail. We are here. What up, Ben?
Hey, Eli. We're back for our 134th episode, and it's the
Yes.
fourth, our favorite kind of penultimate episode of Grendel, the devil in our midst. Paul Grist, DC Seagle, Bernie Mirault.
Yes, and you know what, Ben? What I haven't been saying, and I just literally this second thought of it. This is one that you had never read. So issues 4 and 5, you just read for the first time last night, a couple nights ago.
Today,
talked, right?
Hours ago.
Dude, so sick. What a wild ending to this. Okay, all right, before we get into that, we're going to do the What You've Been Up To's, Ben, and I'm very, very excited to show you something, all right?
I want to see.
So what I've been working on trying to get is like an animated intro, like you would see on all these movies when they have their little, sky dancer, and it's the fisherman boy from the moon or whatever, or MGM, and it's the lion growling.
Oh, I've seen that one.
Maybe that's not Moon Dance. What is that? Amblin? Anyway, Amblin is it's the
DreamWorks.
Amblin is E.T.
The
biking around the moon. Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was, I think
lots of good ones out there.
Anyway, God damn it, we're getting bogged. Okay, and let me show you the next bomb one. Okay, everyone, get ready. I did the sound design on this. Micah did the animation. Here we go. Check it for one. And that's gonna play before or after all the new Cosmic Lion videos and shit. Dude, I'm so psyched by it. Yes, I did a sound design. There's some backwards Grateful Dead in there. Anyway, okay, Ben, what you been up to, dude?
I don't know, not that much. Oh, that's not true. I've been making some comics. I've been making some art. You remind me.
We have a new book. Cosmic Lion Productions announced our new anthology in the glorious tradition of heavy metal and Deadline and Cheval Noir. We've got a new science fiction, horror, music anthology. Hoping for a bi-monthly kind of distribution. This is kind of going to be the ongoing Cosmic Lion universe book. And we're starting it, and I'd like to kind of keep it going now forever. Another thing I didn't really think of, but just said right now. So like Cosmic Lion Cosmique, Leon Cosmique. I'd like to hear a French person give me the exact pronunciation, but just as Cheval Noir is Dark Horse in French, Lion Cosmique is something that is a comic I actually made a long time ago, and I'm bringing the title back for this kind of thing. So, and Ben, you've got a piece. We've got I
have 60 pages of a long abandoned but not forgotten graphic novel that I started a few years ago. That
Wooshman Bicarbonate presents the
my handlers Wooshman Bicarbonate have allowed us to sign this deal.
Thank you, Wooshman. Yeah,
Cosmic Lion. So we always have to thank. It's like JD Van says. Did you even say thank you to Wooshman Bicarbonate? So in the first 10 pages,
how dare you speak his name on our cast?
They argue with you so much on Instagram. I just want to make sure that they're not, they're watching.
Wooshman Bicarbonate is constantly assaulting the Cosmic Lion Insta.
Best
anyway.
Okay, great.
Best Fizz in the Biz. You're right.
Yes. Yeah. So my book is going to be serialized in Leon Cosmique. I'm very excited.
Really excited to publish your original work. Because I was just thinking, I've never actually published your comics, but that's not true. The first place we did it was in the Grendel cast. Love and Grendel's the
zine. You published my comics in Wizard.
Oh, and Wizard and
2 and
Image Grand Design. What an idiot,
and
Eli.
There's like over 10 books that you've published my work.
Okay, that's great. Well,
so thank you, Eli.
I clearly can't remember. Let's get into that theme song with Manus, who we just hung out with. That was fun. Take it.
It's like the devil is my best friend. 100 rows with the pen to the fork end, or till time end, like Orion. Jupiter, my kin, bloodline private. We control the whole shit. The wolf won't beef, then we feast off the rip. Behold the devil in detail. Behold the devil in detail.
All right, we are back. Ben's gonna do it, and we're talking about Grendel Tales, The Devil in Our Midst, 4 of 5, the penultimate.
I was talking about smoking on camera.
Dude, you should do it.
I just
All right,
do
so
it.
we pick right up in this episode, in this issue, where like, and again, we're doing the new thing where we're talking about it, and then we're going to look at the art. So we pick right up with Jonah
crucified.
Crucified. I almost said circumcised. Much.
Well, it's not. It's not. It's like a. See, when it's funny because when I hear crucified, I always think it's like religious or dogmatic, and not like a practical thing. So the fact that he's not like on an actual cross, like always is like,
oh yeah.
Let's it's a great.
It's a cross to the con.
Let's read this.
And so,
let me do my reading on this one. Here we go. This is chapter 4 of Devil or Miss. Previously, led by Grendel Jonah, an expedition was undertaken to find the source of the earthquakes rattling the nerves of those remaining at Ice Station Helman. No one, however, was prepared for what was in store. A giant snow monster. A few well-placed explosives sent the creature back down into its icy cavern, hopefully solving the problem for good. Upon returning to their base, Jonah discovers that all is not well. As the evil Drake, not a good week for Drake, crosses his path yet again. Wow. And then we got Pigsville. Hitchcock Blue, baby.
Cool. Oh, yes. Hitchcock Blue. All right.
Matt, look at Matt's limited use of the bright yellow, highlighting Jonah's eyes. Very nice in the trading card size.
Super small. Like those, that's just one stroke. You know, it's like, how did he make that big mark? It's like, it's a small mark that he made it with one stroke. It's so sick.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's crazy. And as soon as we open up, like he is crucified and he's flashing back. So we're really filling out a lot of his backstory in this one. And he's like, wow, I've learned.
Can we break it down by scene? Super efficient. First thing that we get is we get his Balaam flashback. There's a lot. The flashbacks pay off so crazy. They're so good in the 5th issue.
Yeah.
But then what's this guy's name? Alexander comes in with the action sequence, stops the wolves from eating him, jumps over a chasm.
Alexander. Dude, and we have to talk after we talked with Steve and Matt last time. This character we first saw in 4 Devils 1 Hell.
Yeah.
So he's at the art place with the and he talks about her. She gave him the sword later.
Yeah, right. So had Steve not said anything, I'm sure that when we got to the sword, we'd be, oh my god!
Oh, you think? Yeah. Oh, dude, I would have.
It's glory. I'd be like, where have I heard that? Oh my god!
These guys are just chomping away at his feet and stuff.
Alexander is definitely a character who deserves an 8-page anthology short.
Agreed.
There are many characters who
black,
do.
White, and red.
Yeah. There's many characters that do. He's definitely one of them. So anyway, they get some. He can't get him down.
Well, and he's like, I got my food ration, and he's like, you know, hey, I've never seen any food ration that's a giant chunk of raw steak. Most food rations are packed up and they're, you know, but his ration is a giant chunk of steak.
That might be a place where like there's some Marvel method, or like Paul's just doing what he wants to do, or it's getting very symbolic on the art, and maybe there's some conversation.
And you gotta sell. You gotta sell what's happening. Yeah, so it's like
there's a lot of places here where Paul is so minimal, where there's like, you know, that cartoon gag where like Bugs Bunny can pull whatever tool he wants out of his pocket.
Yeah, or Felix the Cat
sometimes
bag.
Yeah, there's sometimes where like when good comics like Grendel work well, sort of the opposite happens, where the art serves the story, serves the art, and it like keeps going around, just like make sure everything's nice and clear and fits together.
Yeah.
Rant over. All right, so
well, and Bernie's work on his face and shoulders and all the slashes, and we're gonna get into it when we zoom in later, but yeah, Bernie's S destroying it. So then Alexander comes and he's like, oh shit, now my stuff died. I'm too, I was always too, awkward to be a Grendel. I was too awkward to be a Grendel. I was too clumsy to be a Grendel. And it's all shown on this page when he comes to help. And he's like, you were a Grendel. And he's like, yeah. And now his shit doesn't work and he can't do it and he can't lift him. And he's like, oh, fuck. So
isn't there a part in his there's a part in his origin where he's like, well, they knew I wasn't good at fighting, but I had a lot of heart. I really cared about what we were doing. So I was like kind of the teacher's pet. Something like that.
That sounds like me when I was on the 8th grade basketball team where they had all the good people picked and, 2 people who were also really good on the bench. And then they're like, we have one more spot to fill. Guys, who is cooler, this idiot or you or Eli? And they were like, well, Eli's cooler than that idiot. So I got on the fucking team, but I sat, I was like, you guys read this week's Generation X, anyway, but he was like the heart of the team. And again, that's what I felt like. I cheered and I whooped and hollered and I helped my friends. So he was the heart of his team, but he was never the muscle. And he was, and so when he got here, he really wanted to prove that he could do something. So he was like, okay, what is there not a master of? The computers. And he was like, all right, so I'm the master of the computers here, at this UNOW site. So he wanted to make himself useful, but he didn't need to tell everyone he's a Grendel. But he's also like, fuck, I can't help you. All right, so we flash back and we're with
Caroline.
Shit. I was going to say Claire. Yeah.
We're going to use this camera angle and composition is going to repeat itself when Drake tries to take over and hoards himself in her office. He'll be sitting behind this desk later on. She doesn't know that Jonah's gone. And I love this panel where the Paul Grist solid black floor perspective illusion in this empty bedroom is unbelievable. Yeah, it looks great.
Dude, we can't stop talking about the art. I feel like it's hard to separate these two things. Maybe we don't need to share the screens yet, but
let's share the screen. It's fine.
Let's share the screen. All right, let's get into it. All right, guys, you can follow it.
You already said it, but my thought was that Bernie is sort of doing things starting in this issue that he hadn't been doing before. There's just more rendering, more detail, more stuff.
Yeah.
Looks great, Bernie.
All right, so we can see everything. All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, just let's just catch up on these pages real quick because guys, we like our new way, but the art and the stories
you gotta have both at the same time.
Yeah. And so here's where they're biting at his foot. This is an amazing panel, And here's Bernie again, destroying these different colors. And he is envisioning in his head, and then he lays the what? With the whites, then the reds, then the
white,
skin tone.
The whites and white, red skin tone. Really battered. He's just, I don't know, everything. It just seems like Bernie's really upped his game in this issue. It's super atmospheric. It's still really minimal. There's a lot more detail. The mood is always really, really clear. Yeah, look at that under the chin. That's a great one.
Jesus. Yeah. So good. And even here in the reproduction, you can see kind of his strokes, Yeah,
a little bit. Under the foot looks really good. Cool.
Yeah. All right. So now we're caught up here. This is what you were talking about. You were talking about this bottom panel right here.
No. I was talking about the one where it says Jonah. No, on the right side. The middle tier on the right.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes.
You can see the third point of perspective on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just we're completely bird's eye view over the bed.
Love it.
And so the sort of
Dude, it's kind of like a Wes Anderson-y feel. If you were reading from left to right on this, it would be like a Wes Anderson movie where it's bed, blanket, table, chair, It's very cool. Love it. And I love the science fiction alien hallway right here with this diamond shaped door or whatever.
Yeah.
Again,
Paul Grist
we were
keeps doing
talking
more and more
about
of that
Andor. I've been loving Andor, and like I have to watch a YouTube show to like because I need to know all the like deep lore that I don't know. I don't know all the deep lore. So like I watch a YouTube show and they're like, all the rebel stuff is got circle doors and circle worlds, and all the Empire stuff is like square doors and sedate, and it's white and black, and you know, it's got me thinking all this stuff. And so like this panel, you know, is stark yet colorful. You know, it's like I don't know, it's just beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, I think it has a very Ridley Scott. Yeah, for sure.
So now we're gonna do it old school. So this is a big one. So she finally confronts him here.
Yep.
Confronts Drake.
He's infected.
He's like,
he's
where
fucked.
is he?
He's crazy. He's an all red.
Yeah.
He's monochrome
all red
crazy.
Yeah. And she's like, wait a second. No, it's from you guys when you went out and you got the Premacin and you got the shit and you and it was the dump site and you guys brought it back. It wasn't Jonah. Like he's like, there's no fucking way. I'm all red right now.
I really like Bernie's green backgrounds and the right side top tier of these 4 panels. It's very just like
how it's
very subtle changes. Yeah, really, really cool. It's like notes on a keyboard.
Yeah. And again, like how we were talking about how amazing the storytelling is this. The fact that the color just gets a little bit darker makes it be like bam, 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 you know, like
for sure.
No, you know, I was going through that. What's more, you know, perfect pacing on that. It's mostly about the Premacin on this one. Oh, two. Yeah. Okay. So we flash back and I really love the storytelling here too, because as his like Alexander's power and ability to help, it went like, you know, black and white. It went so like the less and less he could help, the less and less color there was. Like seeing these last 2 panels, he's like, fuck, I can't help. And then it's like black and white. And then when we zoom back, he's like that and like that. And then he finally gets the radio signal, and then we get color. And you kind of like flashback.
Yeah, for sure, man. This first panel gave me like David Mazzucchelli vibes.
Oh yeah.
Daredevil, Batman, that type of thing.
Well, and then here this flashback is you know, one of the biggest reveals of this entire thing is that he was kind of like sexually assaulted while he was a Grendel.
In the military. It's very topical. It's very
incredibly topical. About? This makes
Eli,
a lot
what was
like,
it?
Yeah.
Eli, what was it? Star Trek 3 is the one where you get to see the life.
Yeah.
What
Star Trek as a world. Star Trek as a world.
So this is like, this one does a lot for like Grendel as a, you know,
Grendel as a place. Like they're kind of in like a ragtag team, and he's like, I can't cut it. And they call him the Khan. I didn't realize that the leader of a Grendel group was called Khan too. That's crazy.
Yeah,
like he's the boss. He's like colonel or president, or
they do that in the motorcycle one. I don't remember what it's called.
Dude, I can't wait to cover that one, dude. These Grendel tales. We were just talking because
they're getting better and better.
Yeah.
All right, so this guy molested him. Jonah speaks out, and Balaam kills him. Balaam, I know this name from Judaism.
Oh, did you do some research about it?
No, I remembered it from when I was a boy. There's some story. There's some prayer, Micha Mocha, the words of that prayer.
Adonai?
Yeah, that one.
Dude, he's the son of Bor, who was a biblical figure, a non-Israelite prophet and diviner who lived in Pethor.
And the guy's like, go and curse these people. And so he's like, as a wizard, I'll go curse them. Okay, give me my money, I'll go do it. It's fine. So he gets up on the hill and he sees the people, and they're so wonderful that instead of a curse, he gives them a blessing. That's Balaam.
Oh, so Balaam has a happy ending to his story, but I'm not sure we're going to get that here.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Balaam kills the guy.
So yeah, I mean, we had some swift justice here, which, you know, that is an incredibly powerful page. A lot fucking happens. A lot of backstory is laid out, and then we're back to troubles in the present, which is in like hushed tones. usually the flashbacks are like in the kind of dreamy.
Well, they
coloring.
play with that. They
so
play with that
well.
device in the 5th issue, where they do the audio bridge and the cross cutting, and there's a sequence in the future that has dialogue. The sequence in the past has dialogue from the future.
Yeah.
It's
I wonder whose call that was. I wonder if that was something that Matt or Steve passed along, or I wonder if that was something that Bernie brought. Oh, amazing. We got to ask. We're asking. All right, cool.
I like when he does the pee-pee touch. You can't see it in the digital, but when he touches his dick in print, this is one of Bernie's best jobs with the background. Bernie's background in this panel of the leaves.
The top panel 1, not panel 2.
Yeah, it's really
it's
not panel 2.
I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. Marvelous. That's a great panel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful colors, Bernie, as always. And this next spread is so sick too.
This is Carolyn showing up. It's confusing because she's got her hair covered. So she's got
they all look like that when they're out on the town.
They got their little ninja masks on. So she takes a hatchet and she hits.
Well, she's
Alexander
able to get her thing to move. Yeah, because he couldn't put his thing up, and I think these we're going to get to it later in the next issue, but I think these things can hover higher than we think. They're speeders, and
is that what's happening? I don't, but it doesn't look like the.
But in the next issue, it's flying around. So
yes, but what does that have to do with this moment? I don't understand.
Because Alexander couldn't get his over there to get up, so he has to get up there where the Dales are and then knock them out. If you can't,
portly.
Yeah, he couldn't lift him up enough to.
He couldn't lift up. The bike couldn't go 2 feet with Alexander.
Well, because it lost all power. Anyway, yeah.
I love this sequence where they knock him out. That's very chaotic with the wax. Ooh, and the blood.
Yeah. They finally knock him out, and he's on top of Alexander. He's like, "Ooh, you're right." And he's like, "Yeah, he's on top of me." All right, so then they finally get him back, and the mutiny has happened. That's another thing we didn't talk about before when we were talking with Drake. But he's like, "I got my people now. We have a group. We're fully mutinized. I took over." And so this guy's out front, and he's like, "I can't let you in. Not with him." And Caroline decks him. And he's like, "Hell no."
Yeah, Bernie's killing it.
Oh fuck.
Anyway, then this guy has to go tell Drake. Drake's pissed. He doesn't want to hear
it. He's like, they got in. They knocked me out. And he's like,
this is one of those things. Remember in War Child when it would like cut back to the regent, the wife?
Yeah.
Kennedy. And she would just get crazier and crazier and crazier.
Oh yeah.
So they do that kind of slow burn with Drake where the monochrome, the eyes look really good, and then he's like cover. He has like pit stains. There's one where Drake hulks out in the 5th issue, and there's a panel where he's shirtless, and Paul Grist draws every individual bead of sweat, and then Bernie
on the back, on his back,
on his back, and it looks like Adam. It looks like Adam Lemna Outlaw. It's fucking crazy.
Sick. Dude, it's so good. Oh, okay, all right. So we come inside, and Drake's like, "I'll just get to them later. I'm not even worried about that right now because he's so messed up."
Look at this.
Right, so they bring him inside, and they're starting to run. Yeah. Oh my god.
That is some good Zappa. 16 panel Zappa.
Yeah. And this is when we get the connection between Premacin, the waste that's being dumped, and Premacin as like the drug that Grendels take, that I think began to be called Grendel. Like Premacin is its actual name, and Grendel is its like street name. And so that's what they would take to get them all psyched up, and that's what what's his name from Four Devils One Hell.
Hundreds of years.
Yeah. It just
That's
continues.
The thing about the story. We think about America in terms of 250 years. These people are thinking about their own span of 250 years. They're not even thinking about it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. This is I love this panel where we go back to the office and he's dressed like a psychotic football coach.
Yeah, he's hiding his eyes now because like you said, I wonder if the blood's there yet, or is it like his eyes are starting to bleed? They're all bloodshot, and you can tell.
Oh, crazy.
So what's the
She looks
H?
like
Wouldn't it be U for you now?
Hellman.
As the
No, it's her Hellman.
Hellman Station. Hellman is like their station.
She's got this like Tilda Swinton look to her in this close up. Very nice.
Yes. Oh, that's a good call.
All right. Yeah, it does not look the same digital as it does in print. It just this digital doesn't do Bernie justice.
Well, they scanned it from the book, and
Yeah.
like they didn't have the Bernie stuff to scan it from. Maybe. All right, so she's still yelling at him. She's like, "Look around you, like you've taken over. What's even going on?" And so,
yeah, she knows. She knows it.
But she also can tell. Yeah, and she's like, "Keep your eyes on him. He's losing it." And we go back and we see Jonah. She's like, "What happened?" He's like, "Well, I put him out."
He gave him too much drugs.
Yeah, he's just like, I was trying to put him down. Yeah.
All right, so she's like, "Listen, we got to go. We got a mission. You got to go do it." He's like,
"Yeah, no, we have just a few more
go
blast caps, and what we need to do is destroy. If we can bury all this stuff, then none of us."
The last scene ends with her convincing Drake to give him the last,
give her
the last of the blast caps. Right?
Yeah, 3 of them. Because look, if I can just bury this stuff, none of us will get the disease anymore. We can all live and we can continue to work here. Like, this is what happens. You killed the monster. We're just gonna sink it all.
They're not gonna work there. They're gonna die. They're gonna starve.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
They're just trying to get rid of the Premacin. Yeah.
They're trying.
But she's like, we got to figure something out.
They think that they can stop a potential future infection. They
Mm-hmm.
think that at least they can.
Like, if we're all good now, yeah.
But by blowing it up, just go with it.
Well, by blowing it up, he wakes up the Rumble Bear.
Such a cool layout.
And he's like, my favorite. He did get,
Can you go back on the sequence of the rumbling?
Yeah.
This kind of arrangement where they look like scattered dominoes is my absolute favorite thing that Paul.
We have been loving that in this book.
Yeah. It's like you throw the lots and then you fill the. I've never seen.
And you're guiding the eye in a way that couldn't be done if you did 3-panel. If you did any type of grid,
man.
And I think I would argue even well, the background is white instead of black because we're in snow.
Sure.
Because I think in a lot of comics, the background would be fully black. I guess in new comics, maybe I'm thinking about like Spawn or something.
I got to tell you, I don't think it's fair to compare like new comics or most comics to this.
No, yeah.
Because if you talk about all comics or most comics, they're not as good as this. Like they're just not made as thoughtfully. So what's the point of comparing like a corporate assembly line book to a good creator-owned book? They're different beasts.
You can't. Dude, this fire here in the imprint, like, wow!
Look at him dance with that brush. Looks great.
It's amazing.
These would be knocked out. These little explosion lines.
Yeah, now.
In 25 years, I'm sure that.
But I love how it looks. Like I'd like it more with that holding line. It more? I don't know.
I wish it was orange.
If that that would be sick. Yeah. Well, and then we see the monster come out. They didn't kill him.
Can I say one more thing about the monster? Yes,
you love the spread.
Look at the monster's arm.
Yep.
Yeah, and the red the red underlighting in the carrots. So fucking cool. Okay, that's all I want to say.
But now I'm looking at the like Kirby Crackle, almost the big fat Kirby Crackle, that like the coloring on this.
Where do you see?
Well, the whole thing, like these circles here, like having a genius colorist who's confined to this, early coloring technique is why we get something so sick. Because if you're coloring in procreate, you're gonna blend. If you're painting, you're gonna blend it more. But
Maybe.
because if you're watercolor, but because of the
It's
restrictions,
a coloring process very rarely used in comics, if ever.
Yeah.
Weird.
Well, I want to color one of my own comics in a way that like apes this. All right, dude. So we have one page left, and we're getting to it, and it's the reveal of the now burned beast. Arang, here we go. And I love, dude, these knocked out barrels. All these barrels. Who are we? Stephen Platt over here.
I like the barrels. I wish there was a little bit more of a sense of scale.
Yeah. Well, he's huge. He's humongous.
That's true. My favorite thing about him is how he's scarred, like perfect line down his like the center. That's all ripped up. I was when I read the last issue, I really, really enjoyed this monster. Really enjoyed him in ways. He's only been like 2 or 3 panels before this. I was like, all right, whatever. He's a big mutant bear, whatever. And then like when the air motorcycle is like flying around and smacking his kneecaps and stuff, I was like, yeah,
there we go.
It's great.
Dude,
it's a great
crazy.
story.
Yeah. Dude, yeah. And next issue, and again, this is why I kept being like, this is one of my favorites. I love this one so much.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Sure. And
it gets steadily better.
Yeah.
Like there's like every issue has a little adventure in it that moves it, that sort of moves the needle, makes it more intense. But the last 2 issues are like really, really good.
So smooth and fast and enjoyable. And honestly, the first time I read these, I didn't take the time to appreciate the coloring and the way that everyone works on this. And I think we're gonna see that as a motif on all these fucking Grendel tales is these teams, some that never worked together before, some that did work together before, but these teams that came together and just did something insane. It's like a super group.
For sure.
It's like Matt made these super
coming
group.
Up on deck, we have a purely European approach, which is like when I read this, it was like I'd read European comics, read Valerian and Mobius and stuff like that. When I read this, it was like that transported into something I understood, and it was like, oh, this is so good. At 22.
All right. Okay. All right. So that's the issue there. We're not going to get into the letters column this time, but I do want to talk about something on the finish line of this, which is the back inside cover. Dark Horse is going through an insane time. Like it's one thing for us to talk about these books now and the story and what they mean. It's a whole nother thing to put these books in context of what was happening in the comic book industry at this time. This was what, 1998? 1994, of course. That's what I'm okay. So 1994 and Dark Horse, we don't think about it, but Dark Horse was on the cutting edge of the comic to film pipeline before Marvel. So right now in 1994,
let's count them off. You got Dr. Giggles.
Dr. Giggles was first, and then
Virus?
I think. Well, I don't remember
Mask?
Virus. What was that?
And the Mask.
Mask was next. Well, and that's that's where we're at right now.
That's where.
So I want to read right now. I'm going to read the last 2 paragraphs of this because it's an amazing piece of comic book history. And here we are, and it's not Marvel and it's not DC, and it's before Image. And this is when a third big comic book company is like, we're destroying it. Not only are they publishing the Alien, Predator, Terminator, and Star Wars books right now, that's the paragraph before. Currently showing, as if you could have missed the hype, is The Mask from New Line Cinema, starring Jim Carrey in a nonstop barrage of computer animation effects from the same folks who made Jurassic Park. That's Industrial Light and Magic, which I would also urge you all to watch the ILM doc on Disney+. It is one of the most inspiring stories. Like in the world of movie special effects, these guys are Crumb and Spiegelman and Zap Comics. These guys are, Jimi Hendrix and the Grateful Dead, and these guys are, yeah, dude, these guys are the people who are making it what it will be. So ILM again, okay. The film actually manages to be something rarer than a good movie comic. It's a good comic movie. And I would say absolutely. The Mask, most people don't even know. There's scenes from The Mask that are directly out of the comic.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
The scene where he's in the alley and he's like, he's doing the balloon animals and he does a Tommy gun. Like that's a 4-panel spread. And that's That's directly out of it. I love the Mask comic. Well, because I love Jim Carrey and I loved comics. And when I saw The Mask and I didn't know it was a comic first.
Yeah.
But as soon as I learned that in 1994, I was like, my mind was completely fucking blown. And I went and got every single issue. And it was like, it was reverse to what it is now. Okay. All right. So here's the next one. Next month.
I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Oh my God. I had to. Oh my God. It was the best.
Yeah.
Dude. And I had to travel an hour to even go to a comic shop that had a back issue bin enough to find Mask comics. All right. So here's the next paragraph. This is what's happening right now for Dark Horse. The Mask is in the theaters destroying right now. Oh, also, next month, Dark Horse takes another run at the box office with Time Cop from Universal, directed by Peter Hyams and starring Jean-Claude Van Damme and Ron Silva. Time Cop is packed with as much action as The Mask is with sight gags. Okay, hold on. What? Time Cop is packed with as much action.
You should make that
Time Cop. We should do that. Time Cop is packed with as much action as The Mask is with sight gags. When was the last time you saw Time Cop?
20 years ago.
Too many years. Too many. Guys, everyone listening, Ben, you too, watch Time Cop. It is so good. And it was on the cutting edge. It was the first movie, I'm convinced of this. It was the first movie to have something because there's 2 Ron Silvas at one point. And this is a shout out to anyone who listens to How Did This Get Made in their episode about Time Cop. Paul Scheer kept calling him Ron Silva when it's Ron Silva. Anyway,
who's Ron
Silva is the villain in Time Cop. This was the first movie to ever depict, they had the young Ron Silva there, and Jean-Claude Van Damme high kicked him and cut his face, and the future Ron Silva, it was like, and it was like, and the scar appeared on his face.
Yeah.
Whoa. That was like, it is, when I'm talking about a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, you're putting it in a category where you're not like, this isn't a fine film. It's in a category of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. And in that category,
see his balls in his undies.
Oh, he does do an amazing split on his posterior. You don't see
his balls. It's not a movie. Okay, great. Well,
all right,
Dark Horse,
these 2 films are just the first of what we hope will be a long line of Dark Horse produced motion pictures that will complement our comic book comics, just as we tried to complement some of our favorite movies with our movie comics. Okay, so that's a great thing to say right there for Dark Horse, because, like I said, they're doing Alien, Predator, Terminator, and Star Wars comics right now.
Hollywood, baby.
They were one of the first, to really make that a thing. And unfortunately for Dark Horse, they never matched it. Barbed Wire came out, I'm not sure anything after Barbed Wire. There's been some stuff, but nothing that was. Well,
is like Hellboy animation movies, or
you might be
Hellboy
right. Well, it's really, really tough because to have got Jim Carrey to be in your movie in 1994.
Right place, right.
You just can't. There's nothing to compare to that, because at that point he was so fucking hot. At that point, he was being paid more than any other movie star ever. In 1994, Ace came out, Dumb and Dumber came out, and Mask came out. All 3 of those movies came out in the same year.
That's crazy. Good for everyone. Good for people making their money. Dude, congratulations.
Love it. All right. Until next week, Ben Vivat Grendel.
Keep on Grendling, you Grendling fools. Thanks for joining the conversation. Thanks for watching our comic book podcast. We appreciate you.